it a pacemaker? No, it's not. It's a different thing. So it's been a whole big thing. I see more doctors in the last 2 months than I've seen in the last 5 years.
Oh.
They can look at in the office and keep track of.
Yes, yes. So, they tell me, they check my heartbeat and stuff, and I said, I haven't taken aspirin.
I say enough is enough is enough, I don't need it.
Well, I'm 79 years old. My daddy died when he was 44. He had a heart attack. He was dead 8 hours later. And so the three of us kids figured, well, we don't have a law. And I'm real clear. If I died tomorrow, I will have had an amazing life.
No.
So I'm not interested in the law. I could go anytime.
Come on in. We're sitting on this side, facing this way.
I'm ready.
It's getting close. Still got 4 minutes. What is your deal with standing up, sitting in a chair?
I need to check the camera. Where is it? Oh no, the camera's over there. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, yes.
Because I lost my other name. I have no idea. I've been upset about it for years and years. Creative things. Linda Spencer. Oh, no.
Good evening. Welcome to our Good Friday. It's not a service, it's more of a meditation. We will see how this goes, as I have never done this before. But tonight is going to be filled with a lot of contemplation, meditation, and silence, and reflection and silence. And when there is going to be a fairly abrupt ending. We're just going to end. And you're encouraged to stay here as long as you like and leave when you're ready, but all of it in silence. We imagine the crucifixion to be a scene from far away and a long time ago, distant, holy, untouchable. But the cross was surrounded by people, real, actual humans, the good ones and the ones who are less good, but good nevertheless. The ones who had everything together and the ones who were witnessing the world falling apart. The ones who were believing that they were doing the right thing in the name of the empire and for justice and for peace and for control, and those whose worlds were ending with this man that was hanging on the cross. Some wept. Some mocked. Some stood in silence, maybe unsure why they are here. The same can be true tonight. We are not alone. We gather in the shadow of the cross, not as an audience, but as a crowd. These 14 chairs behind me in a very awkward semicircle, they are not empty. They represent the unseen crowd, the people who gathered at the cross then, and the ones who gather now. I will walk among them. You may stay seated, you may stand, you may kneel, but I invite you to listen and to see who you find in the crowd. We begin with John's account of the crucifixion. So they took Jesus, and carrying the cross by himself, he went out to what is called the place of the skull, which in Hebrew is called Golgotha. There they crucified him, and with him 2 others, one on the either side, with Jesus between them. Pilate also had an inscription written and put on the cross. It read, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of Jews. Many of the Jews read this inscription because the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and it was written in Hebrew, in Latin, and in Greek. And then the chief priests of the Jews said to Pilate, "Do not write the King of the Jews." But this man said, "I am the King of the Jews." Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written." When the soldiers had crucified Jesus, they took his clothes and divided them into 4 parts, one for each soldier. They also took his tunic. Now the tunic was seamless, woven in one piece from the top. So they said to one another, "Let us not tear it, but cast lots for it to see who will get this." This was to fulfill what the scripture says. They divided my clothes among themselves, and for my clothing they cast lots. And that is what the soldiers did. Meanwhile, standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and his disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." And then he said to his disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his own home. After this, when Jesus knew that all was finished, he said, in order to fulfill the scripture, "I am thirsty." A jar full of sour wine was standing there. So they put a sponge full of the wine on a branch of a hyssop and held it to his mouth. When Jesus had received the wine, he said, "It is finished." And then he bowed. And then he bowed his head. And he gave up his spirit. Sorry, I guess I wasn't following along. This chair is for the parent who watches their child suffer and can do nothing to stop it. This one is for the person who carries guilt for a betrayal, the kind that you can't undo with words. This one is for the one who showed up too late, who didn't get to say goodbye. This one is for the one who used to believe and isn't sure what they believe anymore. This chair is for the one who stood by while others suffered, who said nothing and carries that silence like a wound. This chair is for the one still aching from the things done to their body and for the ones who didn't believe them. This chair is for the parent who feels like they failed their kids. This one is for the one battling addiction, who feels too ashamed to come close to God, who feels too ashamed to feel loved. This one, this chair is for the person with invisible grief, the kind that can't explain it because it sounds too small to matter, but it still hurts. This one, this chair is for the tired, the burned out, the I'm still here, but I don't know why. This chair is for the one who lost someone and still thinks about them every single day. This one is for the one who caused harm and wonders if forgiveness is even possible. This chair is for you. For all that you are, for all that you may not be. Whether you feel like you have your life together, whether you feel like your life is falling apart, whether you're carrying with you joys and celebrations and victories, or whether you're carrying pain, suffering, and scars. Or maybe you're carrying nothing. This chair is for you. And this final one is for me. And we return to John's reading. After Jesus breathed his last breath, John continues. After these things, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Jesus, though a secret one, because of his fear of the Jews, he asked Pilate to let him take away the body of Jesus. Pilate gave him permission, so he came and removed Jesus' body. Nicodemus, who had at first come to Jesus by night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, weighing about 100 pounds. They took the body of Jesus and wrapped it with the spices and linen cloth, according to the burial custom of the Jews. Now there was a garden in the place where he was crucified, and in the garden there was a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid. And so, because it was the Jewish day of preparation, and the tomb was nearby, they laid Jesus there. The crowd is still here. The cross still stands. And Christ still gathers us beneath it. Jesus did not run from the pain. Jesus did not avoid shame. Jesus did not wait for us to clean up first. He died here with us, for us. And though the story is not finished yet, because we know and are anticipating what's coming next, this part right here matters. And so tonight, we sit in the dark. But we do not sit alone.